What's up, guys and gals, and welcome back to the Nerd Castle. My name is Splattercat. We're here today with the next episode of Nompton in Gnomoria. It's going to be kind of humdrum today. I can tell you that for sure, because we've just about tapped out, I think, everything the game has to show. At this point, it's mostly going to be like creativity and whatnot. In between episodes, there was a mant invasion. Like I said, every time I don't record and I try and get things done in between episodes so that's not boring, people invade. It was like 100 mants. It was a lot of them. It was a ton, and the only casualty was somebody's left greave. And so what you want to do after big battles like this, you obviously didn't get to like see this huge battle, but anyways, basically what you want to do after every single major battle is you want to go through every single person in your military and take a look and see if any of their armor has been broken. It's actually kind of a big deal, because if their armor is broken, for example, let's say that Cuddlesworth, oh no, Cuddlesworth has a greave. So let's say Cuddlesworth has a greave that gets destroyed. Well, that means the next time the enemy invades, they're going to swing at Cuddlesworth's legs over and over and over again, trying to do the same thing to him or to her that they did to Bert. And so that's really something you want to kind of try and avoid, since as you can tell, Bert is basically worthless to us. Like, he gets in fights every now and again, but like, we may as well not even have him doing anything. We may as well just put him out of his misery, because basically he's no help to our society. He basically can't even feed himself. He walks around, he's probably going to starve to death, to be honest. I've been watching his movements, and he passes out almost every single day going to get food. And so I think eventually he's probably going to die, and there's just no way to heal this wound or to get rid of him as a character. And we basically just have to wait for him to die. Now, I'm going to keep equipping him. If he's standing right here, it means he can usually get to the battle before it's over. But if he's in bed or anything like that, not that useful of a character. Just simply not the case. With regards to our tinkering, we're getting pretty close to our first invention. I don't know if it's going to be something like we have to have individual, I suppose, I don't know if we're going to need individual gears and knobs and springs and things like that we have to research before we can do anything else, or pipes or whatnot. No idea how that whole system works. Never really fiddled with tinkering before. I do want to use it, and I think that'll probably be the point at which we break off the series, is once I have a couple of musketeers, because after that there's really nothing else to aspire to. I'm going to continue building in this episode, because it was one of those things that I neglected to do in between episodes, and I do feel like it does benefit us to make sure that we are working on something. Because our pine planks are sort of diminished at the moment, I'm just going to force them to do that. Another thing has come to my attention. We probably want to make a storehouse over here really soon, because as we're migrating all of our labor over into this area, what I'm noticing is that our guys are having to do large amounts of travel time in between here and here to get the woodworking and the metalworking done. So I'm thinking we'll probably want to get started on our storehouse fairly soon. I don't think we'll want to put that off. I don't know. The secondary tower over here may turn out to just ending up to be just an over-glorified, special-looking storehouse. Not sure. I think what we've got on this floor, I do need to measure this out. It was 7s, so let's go. I am going to have to get rid of this, unfortunately. I just, can't have this right here. I don't really want to go through all of the measure. I may just build a barn or something, and I may give up on that connected towers thing. It would be cool, but it's going to take a lot of work. So I'd have to get rid of this right here, first and foremost, which means all the ramps and all the walls have to go. So what I would say is, maybe remove these floors first, and then once we've done that, we'll come back, we'll get rid of the ramps, and then we'll dig out all the walls, and that should be enough done. I'm going to take a look at the bottom floor right now, because I did start mining in between episodes as well to look for a bit more iron, because we are being really hard on our iron supply right now. It's like as fast as I can get it, it's gone. And that is the unfortunate circumstance that we find ourselves in, is that I'm going through iron at a very rapid pace. Let's continue dropping torches down, in here, just to make sure this stays illuminated. I don't know how much we've gotten out of this region as of right now, but it has to have been a fair bit. We got a little bit out of here as well. I have been working on the lead too, so we've got a lot of metals. We've got a lot of metals around, and yet at the same time, you're always going to be scrounging for steel. That's just the nature of the game as it stands right now, is that I can very rarely count myself. I guess my last couple playthroughs have been very lucky in that I've had tons and tons of iron in those playthroughs, and I haven't had to worry about it. That's the way that I guess I would summarize it, is that I found myself in my last playthrough to have just more steel and more iron than I knew what to do with, and so I was building walls and things out of it because I just had so much. In this map, not the case at all. As you guys have seen, we've been very much deprived of anything iron related throughout the course of this entire LP, which is disappointing, but it does give us a drive. It does allow us to keep kind of pushing forward and trying to come up with solutions to this unique problem that we've been leveled with, so, not something to be that upset about. I think what I would prefer to do right here is, since there's no ramps, let's go ahead and I actually want to thin that a little bit. We've got no ramps right now coming up to this area. Well, there's a ramp right there, so I might have to thin it even further. Or... yeah, I don't even think that's going to work. I was trying to think of a way that I could destroy the ramps and leave it as it is. We're just going to have to risk it for now. And what we'll do is we'll put in floors over here. So let me get rid of the walls for right now. And then we'll also... I don't know if that's going to be the best way to do it. Let me drop them down, I think. That's about the best way that I can make this work. And we'll just say we want a floor out of any stone that's in the area. We'll just have it cross this little chasm. And then we'll try and wall it up as quickly as we can. And then once that's finished, we'll get started mining over here. And we'll just have a little look around first, and we'll see if this is solid iron in here, or if we're only going to be able to get the stuff along the edges. I don't really know. It could go either way. I think we'll probably... I would like to wipe this whole thing out and then replace the walls on it, but it will be a little bit risky to the extent that I would almost want to put guards down here. I did get everybody to install their steel pickaxes because here at Gnomoria we install things on our gnomes. We don't actually equip them, we install them. But anyways, I've gotten everybody installed with their pickaxes just by assigning special case outfits just for miners. It's disappointing that I have to go through and do that. They should be upgrading it on their own, but nonetheless they're refusing to do so. Can't be helped. Not going to complain about it. Let me drop the final torches into the corners right there. And as soon as we get these floors in, we'll start mining away at this. Our stocks have got to be really terrible right now. I've been going through iron just way too rapidly. We got 47 actually. That's better than we've been at for the previous, 10 episodes. Still not enough. I prefer to see that number up above the 200 mark if I wanted to feel incredibly comfortable to where I could just do whatever I wanted with it. Right now we're rationing. That's the only way that I know how to describe it, is I'm doing a whole lot of rationing right now to make sure that we have enough stuff going around. I'm going to leave that to run for just a moment. We're going to go back up to the top floor, and I have a couple people that are missing a left greave, and so I need to make sure that that gets fixed. Is that Clobbles? Left greave has still not been created. So there's another breastplate right there. That's going to be for our next guy. I forget his name, but we have somebody that needs to be assigned to guard duty in our secondary squad, but has not quite gotten there just yet. I want to make sure he has a full suit of armor before I do anything with him so that he can jump straight into combat with a full suit of armor, and we don't have to worry about him getting just utterly annihilated in his first battle, because it tends to happen. For example, this right here had me just very, very worried, and it was 2 guys versus all of that. They managed to cleave their way through it, but their armor did get broken. Very, very risky situation to be in. I'm going to continue with the construction of this up here. Go a couple more pine plank walls. And then once this is all finished up, this is going to be our second domicile. We do need to do something with the flooring in here, and I think that's going to be probably pine flooring. Let's go ahead and replace the floor. We have tons of pine. What did it choose right there? I said replace the floor, but it never said with what. Let's go ahead and replace it with birch planks. Bert has passed out from exhaustion. He does that. That's 2 things Bert is very, very good at: hopping and passing out. Those are his 2 fortes. If there were classes or lectures to be given on those 2 subjects, he would be the guy that I'd be like, you know what, you want to be a professor? Because honestly, it's ugly. I mean, his best assignment, if I really wanted to give him something to do, the best thing for Bert to do would be to tinker all day. That would be to build a second tinker's bench and just allow him to be a tinker, and then replace him with the other guy who's not quite as crippled, because being a tinker would require him to move around a lot less. Still hasn't been done yet. Let's go ahead and build in some walls right here out of any stone. I don't have to, but I'd rather be safe than sorry. As I said, the #1 rule of Gnomoria for me is better safe than sorry with some of this stuff. Then what we'll do is, once they have these walls in, we'll go through with a wall. I don't think a wall torch is going to do it, actually. We may just build one right there, and I hope that the radius will be enough. I know there's a hotkey. I know. I just haven't assigned it yet. I know. Every time I lay down torches, you guys leave that comment, and I agree. You're being very, very helpful. But I have a bad memory, and then I just never assign it. That's 100% what it comes down to. Even with steel pickaxes, it's taking them a little bit of time to get through there. Disappointing. It may also be time to upgrade to steel weaponry. We haven't been dealing a whole lot of damage to everybody in combat. It took us a long time to get through the last wave of goblins and ogres and things like that. Made me a little bit worried about our combat efficiency. Even though our skills are at 65 plus for almost every single guard, it's still worrisome when I see them taking so long to kill off the enemies. Let's see here. Gias has invented rods, axles, gears, springs, mechanism bases, and gearboxes. Okay, so you do have to invent. I don't know if it goes in spurts like that where there's different tiers. It seems as though it's arranged by tiers. So this is tier 1 invention, tier 2 invention, and so forth. It just takes a little while. And these are obviously going to be built through the engineer shop, yes? Okay, cool. Gears, springs, rods, wrenches. Alright, so I did want to make some traps. That was the other thing, is I wanted to just litter this area with traps. I think that it might be a really, really good idea. We've got linkages, vertical axles. God, that's more than I know what to do with. A self-powered trap. Okay. Well, this is not something that I'm familiar with, nor do I have the engineering or circuitry background to know how to do anything really intelligible. I'm not one of those redstone people you see all over YouTube that can do amazing things with redstone. I'm just not that guy. Electrical engineering, I took one class on it and I was like, never have to do it again. It was like number theory. Once at the moment I got done with it, I was determined that I was just never going to do it ever again. It's one of those miserable classes you just kind of had to suffer through. If you end up going to college, be aware, there will be classes that you just absolutely have to suffer through. And that's just, everybody has to do it, so you might as well just accept that you're not going to have a weekend for a while. And just get her done. I'm going to put in the beds here. Get started with some of the nice little homey things that people like to have. Only worth 10. This house isn't going to be worth that much, so somebody's going to have low self-esteem or something by living in it, but it'll be okay. I'm going to put in a cabinet here. Put it in the corner. And then we'll also go with a table. Make it out of birch, sure, why not? And then we'll take 2 birch chairs and we'll drop them in there so that everything looks nice. And then after that's done, we'll assign it to an individual. Or we'll just let somebody assign themselves, which the gnomes are perfectly capable of doing as well. If you look over here, this has become Pops' house. So Pops is the only one who's not living in a government-funded flop house, I guess. Or like a project, essentially. This extra breastplate over here. A poorly crafted steel breastplate. Somebody's going to be using that pretty soon, just not right now. A 6th guard would be really, really nice, and I do wish that I could just assign everybody to one work group for my guards, but can't do it right now with the way the game is configured. You only have 5 guys per squad. I wish it was like 7 or 10 per squad, to be honest. My next group of nomads, I may almost entirely put them all in guard duty and then put them on like a training post up and over here. And hopefully keep them out of combat while these guys hold the line while they train up and I get them equipped, but equipping people is taking so long at this point that I really can't rely on it. So iron bars are getting done there. With the bronze armor plates, has the grief been crafted yet? Because I'm really not stoked about having somebody lose a leg. We should have more than enough tin and copper, considering I've been buying out the stock of every merchant that comes by. Tin and copper are both looking... Oh, actually, we're a little bit low on copper. Interestingly enough, might be worthwhile. We got a lot of lead, so I may want to make use of that lead pretty soon. Definitely a lot of PB-related projects. Oh, that makes me hungry. That makes me think of peanut butter and jelly. Just, little kid food. Hells yeah. Although I know people that still eat PBJ like every single day, so... I've heard that's only a United States phenomenon. Like, nobody else eats PB&J. It's just, everybody else thinks it's gnarly. It's okay, though. You guys have stuff like Marmite and stuff, which we think is gnarly. So, it comes with the territory. Vegemite and Marmite and all that stuff. Like, ooh, we have it here, but I've tried it once or twice, and it's not my favorite thing in the whole world. There, I'll be nice. That's what I'll say about it. It's not my favorite thing in the whole world. I don't think I need that second forge either. Did I put in a... Oh, never mind. I do need that down there. I've been trying to figure out what places I can break down versus what places I can leave up. And I've pretty much got it going. Down here in between episodes, I set this thing up to smelt out shards. And so right there, everything worn that gets dropped is going to get smelted out as a shard. And then eventually, I'll probably build something just down here that turns those shards into bars. Just because we have it already, so we might as well. I think it's the... Wait, does this one do it? It says the smelter can do it into bars, but I didn't see bars in here. Let's go through and go slow. We'll see what we can find here. I didn't see bars around there anywhere. Did you guys see bars around there anywhere? Let me make sure. So that was a smelter, and I swear there's a specific workshop. Interesting. I wonder if they condensed it, because I thought there was 2 workshops. I thought there was the smelter, which smelted down items, after which there was another thing that only took shards and converted them into bars. Oh, okay, so you got slivers right there. So I would say, and I assume that that's going to be differentiated from this bar. I wish that they called that a sliver bar so that I would know, but then again, that would probably cause other problems with the coding, so, you know, you solve one issue, you create another one. Every single time I've programmed, that's been the case. You solve one problem, create another one, and then comes the endless bug hunt of trying to fix that. I don't see any light radii which are giving us away. We are going to get up in here, and we're going to try and mine as much of this out as we can. Try and keep that away from the wall as best as possible. But this over here, we're just going to have to risk it, along with all of this over here. And then I'm going to pause it for just a second while I cancel out some of these jobs. And I'm actually going to have to do these one by one, because I don't want any of these extra blocks to be mined, because it's an extra area of exposure that I have to worry about later on. And on the plus side, even though we're doing a lot of really kind of precision mining to make sure that we get the things we need, at least we found this vein. And so this should put us up easily to maybe 90 or 100 ore, which will keep us stocked for a little while. In order to make, I mean, that's only like 25 bars or so of steel, but at the same time, simultaneously, I mean, it's 25 more bars that I don't have to scrounge for. And so 25 bars is almost an entire suit of armor for somebody. I think it takes... Let's see, you've got like 2 per boot. No, the boots are 1 bar, so you've got 4. I don't know. I'm not going to do the math in my head right now because I think that'd be a tremendous waste of time and a tremendous waste of commentary, but there's a specific number that's up on the wiki where it's like, you need this amount to make a full suit of armor for each person, and I'm sure somebody down in the comments below will already have it memorized. I sadly do not. We're going to build terrain as they do this, so I'm just going to keep an eye on them, and we're going to build terrain as we go. Just trying to keep them a little bit safer than they would be otherwise. And so we're just going to click these in as they go. Just one by one, here we go. And it's tedious, but it is something that's necessary because, I mean, I don't see any ramps or anything. I could rotate the map around and look for ramps. I don't think we have any. I do think it's probably worthwhile to seal off some of this stuff too. Just because it's less light radius that we have to provide. Our builders will snap on in and they should be able to get this done reasonably quickly. I don't think they'll screw it up in any sort of pace that's out of the ordinary. And then we'll do a head count on iron right before we end the episode in about 5 minutes. And we've got another situation where I run the risk of sealing him in. Actually, to make this easy, I could just seal this off along both sides. Didn't think about it. I didn't even need to do this. And then again, they do always trap themselves in the walls when I do that, so maybe not. Looking pretty good right now. Really, really happy with the iron drop rate. We've got a bunch of lead over here, and I don't think that's gonna be... We've got so much of it, I think, is the big thing with lead. I may start building walls and things out of it just to say that I did. Because we've got it laying around, and I realize I use that phrase a lot. I was thinking about that first, I'm like, damn, I did it again. I fell back on, that's a phrase that I already tried to work out of my own vocabulary, and I'm already back to it. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? go ahead and we'll put in the walls right there. There we go. And then we'll take a look around and wait and see what the light radius is going to be in there. Looks like we've got a dark corner. So let's put in wall torches. Like right there and right there. And that should clear up a couple more of our problems. And with this, we can actually solve this problem. It looks like we got a bear coming around the outskirts. Thank you for teleporting me up to like layer 75. I enjoy working my scroll finger. My finger looks ridiculous right now. I look like one of those professional arm wrestlers, but just with my index finger from scroll barring all the time. I'm going to put in, let's see, we got the wall, stone wall. Right there will solve the problem rather finally. And so we shouldn't have to worry about this area anymore. The other question that remains is, does the iron run up this way? Because that right there was a nice little grip of iron, and it ran out into this area as well. Is that iron? Oh, that is too. So let's just go down to the next layer then. There's no point messing around with prospects when I've already got eyes on. Let's go ahead and dig stairs down. And like we always do, start with that big ol' 3x3, and then we'll also go off in this direction slightly. Cool. Pretty happy with the way this episode went. I was hoping we would find a bunch of iron, and we did. I'm always worried about iron. What are we sitting at right now? 129. Hell yeah. Okay. That's not going to be enough to fully stock us, but for the future, 129 should keep us cooking with re-equipping people with new gear. Did that grieve get done? Where is Clawbles at? Okay, so the grieve got done. Do one last check of everybody before I break off the episode to make sure everybody's got all of their gear. Because we have reached the point in the game where the enemies are sundering armor off, and so after every battle I've got to check it now. The more HP your armor has, the better. I do wish that there was a command added. He's got 1 bronze greave on. That's slightly humorous, but still terrible. It says that he can still equip... oh, he hasn't lost both legs. He's only lost one. Okay, so he can put a boot on the other foot. And so I think now we probably have nothing queued up at our armor smith. No, we don't. So what we want to do now is let's go 3 helmets out of steel, because I think that's what we're lacking. I see 1, 2, I see one bronze helmet there. Oh, we only need 1 helmet. What the hell am I talking about? I'm wasting resources. Or actually we need 2, because we need 1 for the other guy that I was going to assign to guard duty. After we get the other helmets in, the next thing that we'll go through and do is we'll make sure that everybody has greaves and bracers and vambresses and all of that fun stuff. But for now, I think we've just about hit the end of this episode. So my name is Splattercat. Thank you for joining me in the Nerd Castle for another episode of Gnomoria. I look forward to seeing you all in the next episode. Take care out there, everybody, and hi-do.